Now arriving at Lijiang Tower. Initiating match.
Alrighty, everybody, welcome back here. We are in our spring Overwatch season here for Division 1 once again, our second week of the season. We have the side of Central Union currently 1-0, taking on Centennial, who had a rough Game 5 loss in Week 1. But we're here hopping back on into Lijiang Tower for our first map of the day. I'm Colonel Cast, as always. Joining me today is Hunter. How's it going, my friend?
You must be fun. You know, it is going absolutely fantastic. I could not be more excited for this matchup. You brought up that map 5 loss before. Just another perfect week to be able to bounce back from that, bring yourself 1-1, get some momentum going into the rest of the season. But as things are right now, you see the Ramatra v Orisa to get things started to have quite a little bit of those right here. But hey, you see that blue side, you want to be aggressive with that Ramatra as much as you possibly can, because a little help with that Reaper, it's going to be really tough to deal with.
And yeah, I know these are teams that have been playing in a VHEL for quite a while. I believe I've seen these Overwatch teams face each other. A couple of familiar names, a couple not as much, but we'll have to wait and see how it goes. I know Devil's Joker, I've seen him on the Reaper in the past, has done a great job, so we'll see if he lives up to that right now. Is Soldier Cassidy, the DPS on the other side, off to a great start here as Notaway able to get the opening kill on Devil's Joker's Reaper. Ramatra Blobby has to sprint away. They're trying to pick Drift CS on the side. They will get this one, but the point should get secured here. Lucio maybe trying to get in the window, but no, it is going to be the point secured here. Blobby almost going to get spun off the map, but is able to recover for the moment. Devil's Joker returns as well, so trying to pressure this. Salmonberry goes down early here on the Juno. Now Orisa trying to peel backwards, but there's not much healing to keep him alive. Just the Wu Yang trying to make magic happen, but they will have to back away off the point. So many players low HP. Notaway goes down. The rest sprinting out. Drift on the Reaper swapping on over will be back as well, but the point gets flipped over here for the Centennial side.
Yeah, only 19% ultimately, but still managed to get something over there. Elsewise, you know, obviously, Centennial will be over at 30+ right now, and that'd be difficult to do it. But they're going to have the freeze going to this fight right here. They're able to take a pretty aggressive approach. The moment they decided to push to this choke, you could see that Blizzard end up letting go. You're just waiting for the right opportunity to strike right here, as they are going to allow them to feel a little bit of room, because you're comfortable. You have the space. You know you have something incredible to work with, but you need to wait for the right opportunity. And the longer you're willing to wait in this situation right here, Centennial's willing to let them take as long as they want to right now, but now, with all these ults coming online, if Blizzard is here.
Yeah, the Blizzard unfortunately doesn't really find anyone. Reaper has Wraith Form, Orisa has Fortify, so they are able to get away from it for the moment. Suju comes out early now, Tidal Surge, Notaway charging on into the backline. May able to ice block back to safety. Blobby now annihilating the backline here. Jade's down, but look at the Ramatra. Doggo's dead, Barry's dead, both supports now on VHEL. The Soldier goes down here, a triple essentially for this Ramatra ult. Able to get some great value, but the rest of the team has fled away here. Blobby will run out of the annihilation now as we try and continue the fight here. Have the alternate form, but the Javelin spin able to throw him off the point here. It will get flipped now. 61% for Centennial. Central Union now at 20 and counting, but they lose their Orisa here. No front line to work with, and the rest of the team now returning for Centennial. Blobby has all the support he should need. Blossom, though, comes out aggressively, but it's just not going to find anything. Suzu comes out. Wraith Form comes out. Centennial now. Bull sending it in. Kitsune Rush comes in. Vel goes down. Salmonberry as well. Should get picked off here on the Juno. He drops. Drift CS's Wraith Form. Not going to get him far enough as Centennial reflip at almost 40%. They'll now be passing 70, and Doggo and Notaway gonna get chased down and killed basically in their spawn here. A really nice finish to the fight for Centennial.
Yeah, that is a massive cleanup at the end of the day. And now you're going with the Sound Barrier. You're going to have the Death Blossom as well right here. So you might potentially have to break out with something, whether you decide to go through and use your Visor to try to push through, whether you have to break through even with something like the Terra Surge. The opening has to be made here. Otherwise, you're going to see Central Union be, or I should say Centennial, be aggressive in this situation. Because with two amazing ultimates, they have no reason not to.
Yeah, they're just going to drop down the orbital right here, but it's going to be a full retreat for Centennial. Blizzard comes out now. It's going to be a little bit harder to avoid, but it just lits the team for the moment, and unfortunately, Notaway booped off the map, and the beat comes through. We'll see the fight forward now. Death Blossom comes out. Joker trying to force the picks. Jade takes one. Lad later, Alice another. Salmonberry dead, and Drift CS now in a 1v5. Not going to make much happen. Notaway swaps over to the ball. Try to roll back, but it will be too slow. Centennial take round one here, 139.
Yeah, and they look fantastic outside of like the only single fight that obviously back to give them the 19%. They never truly lose that fight though. They simply back off, give themselves some more time to work with. But I think they look fantastic. Blobby over on Sumatra managed their aggression extremely well in that situation. Now you're going to see things be mirrored on the other side. And honestly, I like this situation. Eureka was definitely finding the picks here and there, but I think that making the swap and just mirroring things is going to be the correct idea. And for VHEL, this is going to open up a little bit more for them to be able to find some value with this soldier should they choose to stay on it. Seems to be the case, but of course, I will eat my words very much so as Eureka comes back online at the last second. Got to double down and try to make this work.
And yeah, I'm surprised to see the Symmetra hard kept here. They just want to get this speed to the point is, not what you want to see. Unfortunate for Drift CS as he'll take a tumble to the depths there as JDace does get the credit on that kill there, maybe an aggressive teleport, but we'll wait and see it here as now they have to wait for this reset. Reaper though does have that step to get here a little bit quicker, is going to be regrouped with the team now, but the point's opening and it should just go over to Centennial here as Nodaway taken pretty low. JDace as well, he does get picked off. VHEL, some nice sharpshooting there to close the kill. Reaper shadow stepping on in. They want to take this fight now. Well, JDace is dead. Lucio can get back to point very quick with a nice rollout, but VHEL a little bit aggressive, goes ahead of the tank and gets picked off for it. Lucio, see him flying in here for JDace, is going to be able to get back in time as well. See him getting some boot value on the backside right on the return. JDace actually immediately goes down again here. Nice focusing. Unfortunately, the rest of the team here really starting to lose on their HP. Drift gets picked off. Nodaway low. Doggo low. They have a lot of healing to throw down, but the Maywall should be able to try and secure some extra pressure onto this Orisa. Blizzard comes out. Maybe a little bit aggressive on this ult. Maybe can win the fight without it, but they want to secure it now. They want to make sure they get it. A nice boot from JDace will kill the tank, and Centennial continue their hold past 40.
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that. You don't find anyone as a direct result of it, but it splits the team up, and it makes it really easy to just clean things up from there. And now, eventually going to make that swap back to Thermatra, or perhaps the Queen, need to do something a little differently here. And I like the willingness to make these swaps, try to make something different. But now that we're pretty far into the round, ultimates are becoming a factor. You have this Annihilation around the corner. You're going to have the double Kitsune Rush available for Semenberry and IAV respectfully. So you got to go into this fight knowing you have a lot being ready to throw on your way right here. This Annihilation could be strong, but I said the Kitsune Rush used first.
Yeah, double Kitsune Rush comes out, but Salmonberry the one to fall for it. Drift CS as well, taken low on the side. We'll see the Ramatra trying to chase him down here. As can pop the Annihilation if we really want to. Tidal Surge comes out, but Doggo gonna get dropped down as well as Blobby tries to lead the charge in. Sim TP trying to give them some other angles to work through. As again, JQ trying to play this front line. Adrenaline Shout though, not going to be quick enough to get out there as Wall comes out. Doesn't really block anything off, but again, it doesn't need to. They're at 90% already. It's not looking great for the side of CUHS, as we'll see if they can do something to touch here. Maybe a Reaper Shadow Step through window. It's going to be the attempt they go for. May, a nice attempt with the wall, but it won't succeed. Reaper gets the touch now as Nodaway almost gets booped off the map. Drift CS goes down. Photon Barrier comes out. Annihilation reigns supreme here as Nodaway. Not much he can do here, trying to figure something out, but there's just too many players here. It's a 2v5. He'll die. VHEL will die, and it will go down. An even better round here. Flawless, and Centennial take Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, it looked fantastic in the process as well. Had all the confidence in the world running their Ramatra of being able to manage their aggression properly, because it wasn't necessarily that they took these fights every single time. When they felt that obviously Central Union decided to come in a little too deep, that's when they took advantage in a lot of these situations. So obviously it's a really good display for them to get things started in this first map, looking for that consistency to go in here and make it happen twice more to take the series. But of course, plenty of time still to be able to turn this back around. So should be fantastic to see how they're able to do so.
And yeah, we'll see where we are going to go for this next. Again, we are playing best of fives here, so we're going to have a pretty standard map pool. Control, Hybrid, Flashpoint, and if we get there, we'll see Push, then Escort. But for the moment, Hybrid, Blizzard World, Kings Row, and Midtown. A pretty interesting map pool here. I saw Blizzard World in some collegiate matches yesterday, so definitely could be a pretty interesting to see something like that. Got a lot of Domina gameplay there, some Sigma gameplay, so maybe we'll move into something like that. Although Kings Row, I feel like Kings Row is always the big lurking elephant in the room when it comes to Hybrid.
It really is. There are just those couple of maps that feel that play very differently compared to other hybrid maps, which, to be fair, I think is ultimately a good thing. You want something
Yeah.
that's a little off, a little different. So it's like, hey, we're not feeling this pace right now. Let's go to something that we think that falls in our favor. There's always a map for you in hybrid somewhere. There's always some kind of niche in there that you're able to pull out. But either way, I mean, ultimately, in the situation, the best thing you can do is go to the map that you find the most comfortable on, or a place where you can go to where, hey, we love this comp. We think it's best to play it here. Ultimately, I think that's the simplest, easy decision you can make.
And yeah, we'll see what the call is going to be here. Again, they haven't yet committed to what map they want to go to here for the second map, but we'll have to wait and see how it goes. Again, just taking a peek at these teams past here, Centennial High School. Again, they're currently 0-1 in the season after a rough round 1 matchup. They went against XPL AW Ghost. Again, the only series going more than 3 games, and they went all 5, and AW Ghost were able to take it down Centennial. The side of Central Union played against Neo City Academy in a clean sweep in their favor, so they advance forward on the season with a nice week 1, but they're starting off a little bit worse here in week 2. Centennial again proved themselves in week 1 as a capable team against another fantastic team, but we'll see which way it does go now for this Central Union side. As again, obviously not to say they haven't ever lost a game of Overwatch before, but it is their first map loss of the season, which never feels great, so we'll see where they want to go. There were obviously a couple comps that they tried out there, played some JQ, thought about some Ramatra, obviously had some other characters getting swapped around, so we'll wait and see which of those identities they want to try and lean a little bit heavier into, or we'll just pick King's Row because it's King's Row, as again, hybrid always has that. It's always there. It's always there. Every time King's Row's in the map pool, it's like, you could go somewhere niche and try and outmaneuver your opponents on a weird comp, or you could go King's Row and try to play better, because everybody knows how to play King's Row at this point.
Yeah, everyone does. And we live in the world of 2026 where King's Row is not just the be-all and end-all of Brawl anymore. There are so many things you can run on King's Row. But we kind of saw some other glimpses earlier, like the Ash, for instance. If you wanted to go over to something like a Blizzard World, like a Midtown, where you have a lot more of these open sight lines, you can open the door for your DPLs to be able to get into the action more. I think that might be the route you might want to take in a situation like this and see how it works in comparison. But like I said, at the end of the day, it's about choosing what you think is most comfortable for you. But if we're not to be mistaken, all that's going to go out the door.
Yeah, I mean, I really think anybody who's familiar intimately with Overwatch, and you see a map pool with hybrid, and you see King's Row in that map set, you expect to go to King's Row when you get to hybrid, or if it's a map pool where you can go to any game mode, you expect to see an early hybrid, early King's Row, and it is going to be forced to be our second round in this format, but it is going to be our 1 map picked here by the side of CUHS, so we'll see what they have planned for it. Again, they should be starting on the offense here. We'll be getting our ready checks in, so just waiting for Centennial to confirm that we are good to go. No substitutions have been made for our second map, but what do you think here? Are we just going to get a ton of Brawl? Are we going to go back to this Ramatra v Ramatra well, or are either team you think going to try something interesting?
I think at the very least in this situation, you're going to see a little dip back into the Ramatra pool, because again, if it's so successful for you, there's no reason to get off of it. But it really is going to be a situation where, hey, things didn't go too well for us on that previous map when it comes to Central Union. Try something a little bit differently here, whether it is something like the Sigma to give yourself a little more room, play that poke game a little bit more, and force Centennial to have to be more aggressive towards you and see how they do in that situation. That goes for the DPS as well. Again, we saw glimpses of the Ash before. I think you definitely can take ranged fights over on King's Row. It's not as prolific, but if something like like Cassidy does come out, I think that's a relatively good swap up.
And yeah, we have some interesting first drafts. Again, Domina, one of those characters who came out really, really good, got hit by a nerf, and then got hit by another nerf, and has been struggling a little bit more to find that same meta foothold they had for the first week or two. But by no means a weak character, is still able to get some good performances. I'd expect this early swap over to something like that Sigma for the side of Nodaway and CUHS, but obviously Domina, it's a little bit of a tough matchup if you don't know a character like that. So we'll see what they they want to do. Blobby going to go for the Dominant on defense and not away. He swapped between the Ramattra and the Reinhardt a few times, but it does look like they're going to commit to this Reinhardt, or the Ramattra rather, which actually isn't that bad into Domina. You can shoot through that shield, but obviously you're going to need to try and help buy some extra room for your team as well.
Yeah, no, 100%. So now you're just going to wait for your opening right here. You already see the shield has been used away here from Blobby. When that comes out, eventually you're going to be able to break through it, especially with something like Ramattra. You're able to burn it down a lot quicker than perhaps some other tanks can. But you're going to pull this to try to find an opening, but VHEL already desperately low, but it's going to be kept up as they're swinging, and Blobby is down early.
And yeah, they're playing really distant here, so the healing just not coming in as quick. Lucio not even in range as Blobby gets dropped pretty quickly here as Centennial are just going to continue charging on forward. Or rather, CUHS, not Centennial. Centennial get forced off there as CUHS should get a very early first capture here. It will be Blobby swapping over to this Ramattra mirror as we'll see which way we want to go. We're trying to get back in, but no, we're too slow. They're going to bring this fight back in, and the second they realize they're too slow, Maywall for the disengage. I don't hate it. If you lose that fight, you lose the first half of this point already, whereas fighting this Arch, a lot more stable of a position for the defensive side. So we'll see what the call is going to be right now for this attacking Central Union side. Is again, very difficult sometimes to get through these Arch, especially if you don't have that ultimate advantage. So maybe need to see something nice coming out of this window of Salmonberry.
Yeah, I love this ability to kind of jump back, but VHEL is down early, so this decision to back up and take your time and get everybody out alive, it absolutely is the right call. Now you're going to have to force them to have to invest in this fight if you want to break past. The longer they take, the more ultimates that are going to get online here for Centennial, the easier it's going to be for them to be able to hold on to this position, especially if they can get this Kitsune Rush online here in a couple of seconds, where instead it's going to be the Ant Matrix to try to get this room as Notaway goes in pretty aggressively.
And yeah, it's going to be the annihilation from Notaway. It's not ready for Blobby. Again, he started on Domina, so that first fight of ult charge is out, but Jade's here going to go in, drops the beat. They kill Sam and Doggo and VHEL here, so it's Drift and it's Ramattra here versus the entirety of the non-tank side here, and they will be able to get it done. 4v2, despite a tank, is going to happen for the side of Centennial. And again, this Arch right here is so difficult to push through. You saw Drift try and get a flank on that Reaper. Now we'll have the Blossom to do the same, but it's going to be a really, really tough gameplay. But look at Blobby. Blobby is still not back. That's how far this path is. You have to go all the way from the furthest portion of the map, and you're still not back for your main tank here. So the Arch is going to get past, but the entire team can't get through, so can't consider this obstacle cleared quite yet. Drift loses that Wraith form. Notaway trying to hold on to the front side. Look at Reaper, though. Blossom drops onto the backside, and Lateralis, Ivy, Jade's all go down, and Drift CS finds a beautiful Shadow Step ult for a quadra kill. Devilish Joker cleaned up for the team kill, and it's going to be 3 on the cart here. I don't hate this idea. They want to get as far as they can, as fast as they can for CUHS off of a great DPS ult, only one used in that fight for them. Lifeweaver comes out. Lateralis has no ult charge as well on the Sojourn, and again, it's a really nice look right now for CUHS, already getting close to the next checkpoint.
Yeah, alright, and I love trying to take all this progress away because you know you're going in with the all disadvantage right here. You're hoping that this Kitsune Rush comes up and you can simply peel out of here, back up, and re-engage for another fight right here. Because in this 2v1, especially when the only thing you have is that Tidal Blast, it's going to be difficult. But again, Driftix is going to go aggressive and the trades start going back and forth.
Yeah, you get Annihilation out. You actually get Kitsune out here. I think they're fine with this fight for CUHS. They're committing really deep. I thought they would just take the loss, but no. They take the call here. They say, we have a good Wu Yang angle here. Throw the Annihilation in. And I was going to say that this is a nice fight. You lose gracefully. You get a couple of expensive ults out there, but they just end up turning it. Burn our Wu Yang ult, burn our Ramattra ult. We get the checkpoint. We have 4 minutes to get the triple cap. So I really like that late fight adjustment there from the CUHS side, who again got a bit of a rough showing on map 1 here, but definitely showing why they got their week 1 win, why they're a strong team that needs to be feared in this competition. As Salmonberry has window, VHEL has this visor coming up soon, so there's not a lot to work with right now for the defensive side. Centennial, they have no ultimate, but they do have Lateralis. A nice shot here, able to take it down at the side of Drift's Reaper here. Is now it's going to be a full retreat for the side of CUHS, waiting for their DPS.
Yeah, now you have this time to regroup. You have plenty to work with, thankfully, right here. But like I said, you're going to have to deal with Lateralis, who's just hanging on that top. And no one outside of Driftix is going to be able to actually get up there to deal with that situation. So eventually pressure is going to have to be given, but it's smart to take your time here, wait for the opportunity to strike right here, and then go all in on the assault, because Blobby gets pulled back, doesn't have the Nemesis form anymore. They're going to try to move in, but instead Tree of Life is forced out.
And yeah, we'll see it now what this is going to attempt to be here. Early Lamp dead as well, but we'll see how long this tree can last for the side of Jade Aces. For the moment, it does look like it's doing a good job holding, but it's not really able to force anything here. They're just going to wait for the tree to run out. Later, Alice here, almost taken down. Life Grip gets him out, but Devil's Joker just dies on the high ground. Doesn't get that Wraith Form down in time, and now it's really dangerous. Doggo trying to stay stable. Drift CS here up on the top side, hitting at Blobby, using that pedal to get onto the high ground. Has to jump down to the Ramatra, low HP, but has supports to get them back up to full here. As it will be the Blossom on the backside. Drift tries to get it, but a nice grip out. Drift just gonna get picked off. Annihilation from Blobby, immediately shut down. Very aggressive on it. Tac Visor from VHEL now able to kill Ivy as well. Kitsune Rush comes out, but it's gonna be the Tac Visor just running them through. Annihilation for 2, and it should just be the full team kill for the triple cap here. Can anyone make it back? The Doomfist does get the contest. He does indeed. Just burning time even at this point is good compared to how it could have ended moments ago. Have to stay on the cart. Have to stay on the cart. They lost another 0.07 meters, but they make it back in time. Doomfist is dead. Blossom comes out. Now it's going to be the side of the Wu Yangle as well. Not away, able to get Ivy. Devil's Joker goes down, and they will lose the round, but that's an extra 30-40 seconds that they wouldn't have gotten otherwise. So nice work on the rollout there by Blobby. Gets the touch. Again, burning time is all that's going to matter once you go into round 3, round 4. So definitely can respect the play at the end of the round. Unfortunately for them, though, it is a triple cap for the CUHS side, so they will have to get their own triple cap.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously that 30 seconds could be significant down the line.
Yeah.
30 seconds is pretty much a single fight right there. So here's hoping. But of course, obviously, like you said, you need to get down and find your own full cap just to be able to have an opportunity to take this one back. And on top of that, you need to do it with time as well. If they finish the map with no time on the clock, they'll be fighting for a tie at best. So we'll have to see a pretty good response here. But hey, you pull up some of that cadence, that momentum you got from that first map, you have a good opportunity here to kind of pick back up some of that momentum, because the greatest thing about Centennial in this situation, or I should say Central, is that they really upped their aggression right here. Before, they were taking fights first, but it felt like they were just running in. This time right here, they managed to catch a lot of people out, like Blobby, who were up very aggressively, and they're being taken care of swiftly for those actions. I think Blobby learned more and more as that map went along, got better about that positioning, but by that point, obviously, the enemy had gotten so much momentum at that point, they carried on with it. But as things are, either way, not a whole lot of change. You see Lateralis is sitting over on that far, which, to be fair, could be difficult to deal with. It's going to be down to VHEL to handle that situation. But if it does end up being too much, Griffix could be in a situation where perhaps they could get forced to swap over to help deal with it.
And yeah, it's an interesting pickup here. This entire comp is very odd. Hazard, Pharah, Vendetta with an Onakiri is just very weird to see, but we'll see how it goes here. They're trying to bring this side flank here, but we'll get shut down for the moment, but no one dies, so they can try and re-aggress. Blobby jumping across here. They do get the kill on VHEL early here. Devil's Joker committing. It's a very odd variant of dive, but it's working out for them for the moment. Blobby jumping down, trying to take down Salmon Berry, but he's able to get back over to his lamp here, but he jumps down away from it. Could get picked off here, but the Wu Yang wave comes on through in time. As Salmon Berry, nice work here to stay alive here. Gonna be the Reaper Drift CS. Getting harassed as well pretty heavily in this fight. Ramatra not away, taking quite a lot of damage on the front side. Devil's Joker goes down to VHEL though, so it should be the stalling of this fight. Drift CS does get traded out, but without our Vendetta, I definitely think it's... No, Barrage just comes flying through. It's an insanely quick ultimate. Look at the ult charges on everybody else. Baptiste, a very quick ult at 75, but the Pharah Barrage comes flying down. Really, really well done by this Pharah here, and that should get them the triple cap. Really well done.
Yeah, 100%. Again, I love that. You get that early ultimate. You opt to be aggressive with it because the team isn't fully expecting it. So I like the aggression right there. And now you see the multiple swaps come through, the Orisa and the M-Ray both going to come online here. And importantly so, you did see everybody got those good spawns, so they're going to be able to take this aggression at the archway. But again, you're seeing a situation where Centennial isn't going to allow them to take over this room. You're going to take a more aggressive fight here. And when you're going to have things like that Kitsune Rush and the Dome already, you have plenty of options to work with right here. It's just about keeping everybody alive, being able to manage that aggression well. But I think when you see this corner come up here, I think Ivy's going to let this Kitsune Rush go, and I think they're going to take a rather aggressive approach and keep playing for all of the space they've got.
And yeah, Drift playing a very tall angle here. Again, I'm interested and kind of surprised to see the Pharah kept on this competition. Purple Rain, Downpour comes in, Doggo, Drift, both going to die out. Ivy and Devilis, though, do get traded. It's not a perfect fight. Orisa here coming in, a nice wall to separate it. Jadace gets chunked in the back line, though, so have to play really slow for this Ana here. Pharah going to get some healing. Blobby chases down Salmonberry. As Ana just going to commit to pushing the card at this point, while Hazard tries to take it down this Orisa with the side of Pharah supporting. As again, it's just going to be sprinting away for the Notaway side. Does get back to safety, but this car is pushing very, very quickly. They have almost 4 minutes at this checkpoint. Their opposition had 4 minutes after they got the checkpoint, so it's a very, very quick push here by the side of Centennial. They'll have almost 5 minutes if they get the capture clean here.
Yeah, but it's all about getting this barrage on. If you see that moment on the Notaway to deal with them, you will. But Tidal Blast thrown in to be able to keep them alive. But it's Devilis cleaning things up over on the Vendetta.
The
Should
Nano
be able to shut
Vendetta
this down right here. That is phenomenal.
Yeah, they throw the Nano on Vendetta, and Devilis just goes crazy in the backside as the cap comes through, and as I mentioned, almost 5 minutes here going to have to capture this. Again, you're looking at a time game right now. 5 minutes should be enough for a team at this level to get this triple cap, but definitely going to be looking at the time game. If they're able to burn a couple of minutes off here for CUHS, this is still anyone's game. Maybe go into a counter for the Pharah in your defensive comp, and you have tools to work with, but we'll see how this goes for them. Blobby on this Hazard still trying to stay alive on the top level. Kiriko getting as much urgent healing as they can. Will the poke not going to be enough to secure the kill? Notaway as well, keeping the DPS up. Onslaught stacks being farmed for Joker. Salmonberry just gets dropped early. Now it's going to be a runaway here as the Vendetta tries to ult, but Drift gets the kill out of air here. As again, they did swap their comp up. Cash Soldier going to be the DPS pickup here for the CUHS side, but the cart, it's still moving. They're losing players, but they're not done moving the cart here. They're moving it down now. Only 10 more meters to go.
Yeah, and I don't think they're going to aggress in the situation, but again, Lateralis is going to have their 3rd barrage already of this round. So again, now Penguin's going to go in. Somehow gets Ivy.
And yeah, Vel both go down to the barrage. The Purple Rain hits everybody else. They get 2 with barrage, and Downpour finds everyone else. That should be the triple cap here. Really nicely done there by the Centennial side. And again, a great round for this Pharah here. Jumped up on the stats. 18,000 damage on the round. The next closest player in the entire lobby is Notaway at 12,000 and Blobby at 11.7 thousand. Pharah is at 18,000. This is an absolutely absurd round right now coming out from them. Obviously that it will include the first round as well, not just that Pharah performance, but looking at Drift and Vel, who are both having decent rounds right now, the Pharah combined with round 1 single-handedly has more damage than the enemy team's DPS line.
Yeah, that is absolutely insane to have a stat line like that. So now, obviously, unfortunately for CUHS, now you have to bounce back from that situation. But you have a couple of bright sides. One, you were able to take the original point in decently quick fashion as well, so you definitely have some cadence to be able to do so once more. But again, you see this immediate swap of, hey, we saw how well the Vendetta and the Pharah worked here. We have no reason not to run it. And that's why you see these swap-ups with the D.Va and the Ashe for CUHS to kind of have that opposition to work with it and give their team a little bit more room to work with. I think the D was perfect, but again, you have to manage your aggression because this is not the comp that you can be super aggressive on. This is one where you're going to be poking away, trying to focus Lateralis or Devilis down early to give yourself that opening. But time will tell what will be the case here. As, oh my god.
You gotta be getting off of that at that point. I do like the D.Va pickup here. D.Va is great, but they need to deal with this Pharah or they are going to suffer the same fate as the last round. They are just raining rockets down everywhere on this enemy team here. They've already lost Vel once to it as It will be the Ashe trying to get value. Almost ties again to the Pharah. No, they do. It's another solo kill for the Pharah here onto VHEL. This is absolute slaughter. Reaper has to Wraith Form out. And again, if you can't kill this Pharah, you're just going to lose. They need to try and figure this out. But VHEL almost gets spawn killed again.
Yeah, and it is literally 1 health again. It could be taken down once more, but wisely going to pull back inside. Unfortunately, knocked out of the mech, and this is just going to snowball from here.
Yeah, I mean, the ultimates are coming up now. Obviously, this is just, as you mentioned, a slaughter. There's not really any game left to be played for CUHS. They need a crazy fight, but you have to kill the Pharah, and they swap off of Ashe to Soldier. More ammo fire rate, but we'll see if that's going to be enough to try and track down this Pharah, who's hiding with the barrage. Look at Later Alice here, trying to wait for it. There is a nice flank find here from the Kiriko as Later Alice trying to fly around a little bit. They won't get a crazy barrage play immediately, but they can get healed up and go for it again. No reason not to, as here we go, flying up into the air onto the backside, and it rains down. VHEL dies, but that's going to be it here. It's going to be the Pharah and Vendetta. Double DPS going down. Drift CS fighting on point here, trying to get as much percent tick as they can, but it's not going to add up to too much here. Blobby's Annihilation gets back in time, and it's going to be logged as 0% grabbed in their 2 minutes almost of time. And now it's a nightmare for CUHS. 3.5 minutes, they have to full defend.
Yeah, now the problem is you know exactly what you're about to walk into. You know you're going to get the Pharah and the Vendetta again. You know that you need to be able to find a solution to hold on in this scenario. And obviously, it's going to be difficult. But that doesn't mean it's necessarily impossible. I think you got to make some swaps, obviously, to figure things out. You almost have to put that full focus over onto Lateralis and give yourself that opportunity. You could, I think, potentially go back to the D.Va. Maybe you go the route of that Sigma, some kind of shield to kind of keep them at bay and force them back a little bit here. But with the Queen coming back out, it's going to be a situation where, again, they're just going to try to go all in on their aggressiveness. Let VHEL still try to take care of Lateralis. And at the end of the day, again, that's your confidence to say, like, hey, this is how we think we can take this one away. Let's go for it. Obviously, with everyone still in spawn, if Blobby is out on this, I think this is a good pickup right here. This is obviously anticipation to maybe if they do decide to bring back out the D.Va, that's obviously a great tool to burn them down quickly. But even if it's not the D.Va, which it's not in this case, I think Zarya is a fantastic pick. And if you give that bubble onto Deblis, they are going to be able to have their aggression amplified 5-fold.
And yeah, we're not going to see the Pharah come out immediately. It's going to start with a Widowmaker. It's a King's Road classic trick. Try to find an aggressive headshot here, then drop into spawn, change to your real character. We'll see if it is going to be the Pharah or what they want to go to. Taking a while to think, but it will swap back to this Pharah as we'll have them flying on in. Jadace gets dropped out pretty early, but it's not going to be quite over here. Pharah trying to focus on not away at the moment, not many other targets to aim, as again Soldier doing everything they can to focus down here. Vendetta getting VIP'd with this Zarya, trying to just stay safe and stable as Ivy unfortunately gets the drop. Pharah as well has to back up, so it's a nice start for Central Union, but they have another 3 minutes of this to go.
Yeah, 100%. It's going to take a lot, but again, get off to a decent start. Finding those early picks is the way you're going to get it done. That's exactly what just got done to you by Centennial. So if you're able to do that in recourse, you can definitely pull something off right here. But with one down, potentially the snowball, but there is an early trade out.
And yeah, Deblis as well goes a little bit too aggressive, essentially gets turned on 1v4, dies out. Blobby now trying to move backwards. They're going to get picked off as well, so again, it's nice work here by the defense. They're doing a good job doing, well, what they need to, right? Jadace gets picked off here. Nobody is dying too far away from the fight, so they are able to keep their team grouped up for the reset here. All 5 players back in position. As we'll see what the play call is going to be. Ultimates are starting to come up. Grav Barrage is going to be really difficult to deal with. I don't know what we have on the defensive side here. There's no ultimate to get us out of Grav Barrage. There's nothing to eat the ability either. So I'm really concerned for these ultimates for the side of CUHS here. We'll see what they can do about them though. Obviously, if you can bait a bad Grav or something of the nature, you'll be good. Obviously, the nice kill here on the Blobby is going to add another 30 seconds to the clock. But we'll see here, not away backing away. Nice Wu Yang wave to come back in. Pharah one shot. No! Suzu comes out. Nicely done there to live for Salmonberry. Kitsune available. Wu Yang burst available. So we need to do something though, because again, Pharah ult is ready and Grav only 15% away. If you get even 2 players with that ult combo, the game is going to be over.
Heck yeah, even if you're able to just get not away in this situation right here, that might just be enough, genuinely. And the barrage is used and falls down first, taken from afar, and now the aggression has opened up full force here.
And yeah, this is actually almost what Central Union need. They just need to win this fight here with the Kitsune Rush, and arguably the biggest problem of theirs has just gone away in that barrage. Obviously, Grab, still a problem. Kitsune a problem. B a problem. Solo Grab not away, but we have Wu Yangle! Use Wu Yangle, please! Nodaway is gonna get saved by it. It's gonna be a beautiful play for Doggo here again. Full HP right now. Enemy Kitsune's coming in, but Nodaway has ultimate. We can use Rampage here after this Lucio beat starts to run out to try and turn this fight, but a Blossom not gonna find anything here. Jadace gets one later. Alice 2 here, so the Rampage doesn't find too much as it Blobby kills himself. Letter Alice Farah here goes down as well, but it's not gonna be enough here. It's a really valiant attempt from CUHS. They burn almost 3.5 minutes, I think, but unfortunately at the end they do drop it. Centennial step forward again.
Yeah, now sitting at match point. Again, that really is a beautiful defensive standpoint right there. They found a lot of these early picks, which, again, this is what you wanted to see for them throughout a lot of this King's Row. It's what we saw from them earlier on as well. I like that's kind of the route they ended up falling back to, but of course, I mean, the ultimate just ended up being really overwhelming towards the end. That sound barrier at the end was just, I think, too difficult to deal with once that goes online, because you're able to take all that aggression once you have it. You know you're not dealing with any of those massive ultimates anymore. You have no reason not to simply hit it, take all the aggression. That's exactly what they did. But again, 2-0 doesn't fully represent how this has gone. I feel like that's an incredibly back and forth map, despite how good that initial offense really was for Centennial. I think CUHS has a really good chance here to make something happen. They just need to be able to utilize and take advantage of those keynotes that they've been able to really use that I think have really kept them in this series.
And yeah, we'll have to wait here to see what the map call is going to be. We're going over to Flashpoint. The options are New Junk City and Atlas. For the side of CUHS, with what we've seen from them, I would be shocked if they don't pick New Junk City, but obviously they could have another comp in waiting, as they're calling for Esperanza. That should not be a legal map to my knowledge. I do believe we have to go Control, Hybrid, then Flashpoint in best of 5, but we're going to wait for an official tournament announcement on that front, as we'll make sure that our league admin here in the lobby can get that checked on and secured. But obviously if Esperanza is allowed for whatever reason it is, then that will be the map we're going to. But again, we'll just have to wait on an update there. But it's an interesting note to see Esperanza picked in the world of Push, as again, it's not really what I would have expected regarding the push maps. I would have expected Coliseo for this team, but yeah, we will get the update there. It is going to be round 3 on Flashpoint only, so they will get called back to New Junker Atlas.
Yeah, and we'll have to see. I figure the situation, maybe you go down the route of New Junk City. Again, I think you were able to pull out some pretty good things before when it came up to that Junker Queen. I think you could definitely follow up with something like that and take some aggression. Again, Driftix has been really good over on the Reaper as well. I think you can combo those really well together. Maybe you add something in like the Chino again, or maybe pull back out the Lucio from much earlier and have this really aggressive play style. Because if you're going to go with that Queen, the aggression is definitely something that you want. And the aggression at times has gotten really difficult for a Centennial to deal with. So we'll see what the situation is. But Atlas looks like it's going to be the call for the third and potential final map here. But I think still the point stands here that if you're going to go down that Jungle Queen route, you just take it with that aggressiveness and work with it. Because again, the way they've been able to take advantage of it, especially back on King's Row, that is something fantastic to build off of.
And yeah, again, Atlas is going to be the map choice here. Again, they kind of surprised me with the map pick here. As I again mentioned, I would have expected an NJC considering what they've played today, but we'll see if there is going to be a different character potentially they're thinking about playing. Obviously, Atlas, a great map for many compositions, so maybe going to be a style swap from Central Union, or maybe a comfort map of theirs that they really enjoy. Potentially, they have some info that Centennial maybe struggles on it, but again, Flashpoint, it's the best game mode to try and rally back a reverse sweep. They're down 2-0, but they've shown some promise, especially on that King's Row set, so we'll wait and see what they can get going on Flashpoint, as we have a little bit before we see our characters locked in. Any predictions from you, Hunter?
Yeah, in my mind, this just screams the Ramatra versus the Junker Queen for me. I feel like this is the two's most comfortable tanks from what we've seen throughout the day. And again, I don't think there's any reason to step away from the Ramatra when it comes to Blobby, because I think it's been their best hero so far. and Notaway, who has, I think, had a good level of aggression on the Joker Queen, I think it's something really good to bring out here. But at least for the moment, it appears maybe swapping sides on those tanks.
We do get the Ramatra JQ.
I mean, I'm not wrong. I mean, like, task failed successfully, I suppose you could say.
Yes, yes. I'm also curious to see this Mizuki coming out from Salmon. Even in my collegiate matches I cast for my college, I don't see too much Mizuki. There was a player or two that have played it, and it's had varying results of success. Sometimes it looks great, sometimes it looks just literally like a strictly worse Lucio, but we'll wait and see how Salmonberry does on it. Has had a good day so far today, despite the results. We'll wait and see it for the moment. I'm a bit concerned about it with the Wu Yang, but again, with this Ramatra comp, with the Reaper, you might be able to benefit from a lot more of this close range healing. Is Blobby JQ trying to lead the charge here alongside May Reaper.
Yeah, 100%. The Mizuki definitely makes things a little interesting in this situation. Remember, Mizuki can chain people down and cause their ability to run away to be difficult right here. But Notaway is in, I think, a little too aggressively and gets taken down early. And that should honestly decide the fight then and there.
Yeah, you lose your Ramatra early, May's going to go down to the point the rest of the team is going to chase you away, and Notaway swaps over to the JQ mirror, so they have no interest in this matchup for the tanks here. Just going to bring the JQ mirror, which is a little bit dangerous, I feel, when you're down 2-0, but it's the call they want to go for.
Yeah, 100%. I don't mind it at the end of the day. Again, you take this aggression. I think the Queen is fantastic for it. Finding that that knife early on to pull somebody in, give yourself that advantage. Something you love to see right here, but Vel gets the better in the situation and opens up the door.
Vel gets walled off completely here, but there's no follow-up to actually commit to the kill here. Really unfortunate. It's a nice wall by Devilis, but again, the team, they're just not ready to execute it. 50%, they'll actually get an extra 52% grabbed for this Centennial side, as it will now get flipped over here. As we'll see how it goes. Notaway, again, trying to hold the charge in this mirror matchup. Reapers lurking around the sides here. It will be Drift. Has to use that Wraith form pretty early. Blobby trying to charge in with the hammer here, but Kekai Sanctuary gonna get dropped very early by this Mizuki here on Salmonberry. Will give them a bit of time to fortune this matchup, but the nice wall here comes out. Notaway just gonna go down. Salmonberry gone. Reaper gets thrown into the wall. He has to Wraith form, and again, it'll be about 50%, and then this should get flipped around. But the Blossom, that's a really, really late and a really expensive commitment. Extremely high risk, mid reward, and it does not pay out for Drift.
Yeah, now Centennial's about to have all 5 around the corner ladder. It's just barely behind on it, but you can really do whatever you want in this situation right here when it comes to ultimates. You could see a simple situation where you just wall off bodies and you go for the freeze, and that's exactly what you're getting.
Yeah, it's just Blizzard World Wall to kill Notaway. I don't know that we need this Kitsune to chase down the 5v4, but they decided it's worth committing here as the Reaper's duel will be the favor toward the Signs Lateralis here with that Kitsune, as it actually does get taken down. Some nice work there by Drift, who will finally get picked off. Salmonberry goes down, and first point will fall once again to Centennial.
Yep, and you still managed to hold on to most of your ultimates going into this fight, so now even 3-3 going into this one. I think the most significant thing, though, is that you're going to have the beat from Jadays to be able to kind of survive during this fight, where if you either want to be aggressive or you want to just be able to survive the rampage, you have really good options here in this fight, so Notaway has to be able to manage when the right time to use this is, and to be fair, you might have to use it simply to get the sound barrier out in a situation like this.
Yeah, Ivy does get picked off early. The beat gonna come out here, but we don't get the rampage for it. Blossom onto the backside with the Lucio speed, though, is really nicely done. Double kill comes out, Salmon and Bell go down. I'm a little bit scared about using the beat there and not getting the rampage, as it will be the rampage of Blobby used to secure their first possession, which I don't hate. I don't, again, know that we needed it to finish off that kill, but they want to make sure they get the first possession, so they say, you know what, we'll hit our last Q, but again, a very expensive fight for them, burning 3 ultimates, whereas none getting used by their opposition, and CUHS are back pretty quick, so they can try and use that ult advantage to get it, but Drift just dies out here in the Reaper duel at the start. Not the way you want to start this fight. Salmonberry gets picked off now, and despite a massive ult charge bonus here, they have 3 ults up to the Centennial 0. They just don't actually get to leverage any of these ultimates here, as essentially a team kill comes through, and Centennial guarantee their hold to really about 60%.
Yeah, now you're already looking at one fight that you've got online here. And again, you have a lot of great ultimates, but because of how long this has lasted, Debus is coming up to their second freeze. So you could see a little replication of our final fight back on first point. You wall off, not away, you take care of them with the freeze and make this quick. But if I'm the situation right now and I'm CUHS, I'm swinging with this Deadeye, but it says it's going to be not away. He's going to catch on to 3 here.
Yeah, it's a really nice start here. Deadeye does come out for VHEL, but it's not going to find any heads as the point should get flipped here. Flashpoint, of course, a very changing game mode, but the Blizzard comes out, going to grab onto a few. We'll see who it freezes. VHEL, Not Away, and the side of Salmon all going to get frozen. Not Away, and they're going to get hit by that Wu Yang burst. The Good CS ult comes down again as Blobby does die out. Ivy dies out, and again, we're 1-5 territory for the side of Centennial from their second point, but Central Union ults are able to hold on.
Yeah, 100%. And you look at that, they end up having to use everything they had initially, but you're coming up to another CUHS Sanctuary, which obviously is pretty massive considering what's coming up online. If you're Centennial, I think you kind of take your time with this fight, try to build up to something, whether it's the Rampage or Death Blossom. You can still just be aggressive right off the gate and just Kitsune right across the point and force them to be in a rough situation where they have to back off and wait for it to go away and potentially allow a flip. But instead, they're just trying to flip the map a little bit here and maybe find somebody to jump. But instead, right here, we're going to see that drop, and you should see the aggression extremely quickly on this drop as Deathless goes down early.
Yeah, it's an early Blossom as well here, but it will find some nice value. VHEL and Salmon both dead here at this current state of the fight. CUHS Sanctuary, nobody can hide in it. Nobody's getting value right now. Not Away goes down.
They got off. Oh my god.
I mean, that really just is C9. They just forgot to capture. I don't know. Feels bad. Feels really bad for them.
You know, they win the fight. I mean, that's cool, and but that sucks because you also use the Rampage there, use the Kitsune Rush and the Death Blossom too. You're going into a rather neutral fight, so it's not all bad. So you can just try to take this, try to hold on to your sound barrier for the next fight coming up when you know you have to deal with a Rampage. But still, it's a rough situation, and now you're going to try to take full advantage of that blunder right here and try to swing this back into your own favor.
I will hate using beat here. We've been holding it for a little bit for J-Days here. Yeah, we do just use the beat here. They actually get the capture as well in the middle of this first fight, so an extra 5 to 10% they will have secured. Drift goes down early. The chase is pretty aggressive. I think just kill Not Away here surely should be the goals. They do indeed get that kill. Now we just need to heal. Everybody's so low here. Blobby's low, Lateralis low, Jade low, so everybody gonna back away, get Ivy holding on to that side click here to make sure everybody can get top to back up. It's a nice fight there, and look at J-Days ult again. Obviously a tactician gets that 25% bonus, but he's already 60% to the next beat.
Yeah, and that's massive. But again, if Not Away knows this, you're probably gonna see a really aggressive take here. Ivy just has to kind of manage the cleanse here for a moment and wait for the right time to use it. But they're simply gonna walk in dry without any ultimates initially right here. Devils potentially looking for the freeze, but instead it goes through and Devils is down early.
Yeah, it's a nice Suzu, as you mentioned there, from the side of Ivy. Has to be mindful of, but unfortunately, that's about the only positive for them in the fight. VHEL does get dropped by the Reaper, but they get the 85% before losing the flip. We've seen this before in that last point, so again, have to be mindful to actually make sure we capture the point when we win our fights this time. Double DPS ults are up. Everybody else either available or at 85-ish%, so I expect Centennial just to try and run through this point here in this next fight or two. As 4 ults are still up for the defenses, though, so CUHS Sanctuary definitely has the ability to try and harass this down a bit.
Ooh, and I like right now, Tier 6 right around that corner is going to wait to go for that Death Blossom and pull up in there, and it works out beautifully!
Yeah, I mean, it's just great by Drift there. Gets basically a quadra kill again here. Had that clip on New Queen, King's Row, not New Queen Street, King's Row, where he got that play of the game with the Shadow Step 4-man and essentially finds the same play set here as they do push their lead up now. 70% progress on this point here, so definitely trying to lead themselves toward getting the second point. Doggo and VHEL hold their ults, but the Rampage comes through really early, but it's a great support line coming out to keep them alive on it. Blossom comes out, and all they need to do now is get somebody on the point, and they are not making the same mistake as last time as all 5 chart their way on. Drift is going to try and run away, but he should realistically get caught here. He's down, as it should be the 2-1 lead now for Centennial.
Yeah, and again, it's a really expensive fight for them to take, but I think considering what happened on the previous point, I really think you needed to try to take that one away and give what you need to. Now you have the freeze back online. You can, again, do the classic technique, wall and freeze, and try to take Not Away out really early and give yourself a chance. But really, I think you're hoping that they try to be aggressive with both the Jedi as well as the title blast. Give yourself a lot to work with right here and not have to really worry about a whole lot. Because outside of that freeze, you're at a full like alt reset right now if you're a Centennial, and you need to be able to manage that correctly. And it can be difficult, but if you use this freeze correctly, definitely can set you up for the long run.
And yeah, it's going to be VHEL running away here pretty low. Not away now, holding the front line about half HP. Health rapidly going up and down as the first point cap comes out again very early for Centennial. They're going to be progging this entire fight now. Drift goes down early. It's going to be Centennial now just sending the go button. Lucio calls it. Adrenaline Scout comes with it. Doggo dead. VHEL dead. Not away low HP. They have 3 ultimates. The other 2 are at 70. But again, you're losing fights. You're losing progress. And Centennial already on match point here. Really trying to press their way toward a sweep.
Yeah, and I think in a good situation right now, again, you're walking into a lot of ultimates, but again, if you maybe just pull this corner, you get them into this freeze right here, this is essentially going to be final fight. I imagine Not Away is going to try to be really aggressive here with the Rampage, like we've seen in some previous instances right here, and to be fair, you can't really afford not to, because the freeze is ready, and Devils is going to be looking for a target momentarily.
Yeah, Tidal Surge, Blizzard, everything just getting thrown down here. Both sides know how important this fight is. Joker, Ivy, Alice, and Jade all going to go down here. It's Blobby last alive. He gets taken out as well, so it'll be probably 84% when this flip comes through for Shuai, 83% for Centennial. Again, they're basically one fight territory on this point, as you mentioned now, but definitely going to be a little bit dangerous here as CUHS do have some nice ults on the burner.
Yeah, no, 100% again. You're gonna have the Rampage going to the beach, be really aggressive as well, and again, it's 5 down with it, or taken with it. Oh my god.
VHEL, Jadis both die. Joker goes down to this hammer swing of the JQ. Not away is Doggo. Low HP right now, getting chased down by Blobby, but Ivy dead as well to Reaper. Drift CS putting in some great work here. Is now Blobby kind of left out here. They could try and chase this stagger or just regroup. I like the second option better. Lucio already here to support this JQ Blobby, but 60% now secured for the side of CUHS. Again, we're getting close to that one fight territory, but with Drift going down early, he's been a player finding lots of notable picks. Alice on the backside, Blossom comes in, that's 1, that's 2. He does get taken down at the end, but with Notaway and Salmon, that looks like the end of the series. Truthfully, we'll see if the return is quick. 86% for CUHS, now the flip for Centennial, 90% in counting, but you have to get a touch, you have to send somebody in. Reaper, Blossom, their Wraith form, have to do something, you have to touch, you have to go, they're just going to be too slow. And the 3-1 win for Centennial comes out on the map, giving them a clean sweep over Central Union here in week 2.
Yeah, and again, another, I think, really back and forth map, all things considered, but I think Centennial, they knew exactly what they wanted to do going into this one. The moment where things didn't go well in that first fight, you saw the copy matching the Junker Queen instead, and they just pick up where they left off from a lot of King's Row from their attack. It works out beautifully in their instance, and now they come into here, they get that 3-map win in amazing fashion. And again, a situation like this, where again, you consider how that first week kind of went down as well, this is a great situation for them. This gives you a ton of momentum to work with for the rest of that season, to come in here, take that 3-0 win where you might have a couple of lower points, but you manage to bounce back every single time. In a game like Overwatch, we know how important that is to have.
Yeah, really nicely done here. They are able to secure this win, but we'll see how this goes for them, as again, they did lose their matchup earlier on in the season last week against XPL AW Ghost, and definitely a strong team to keep an eye out for in the future, who were able to take them down. Again, you have a team like West High Vikings. They get a bye win and an FF over NCA. Never loved to see FFs, but they do happen. LHS on their bye this week, so definitely a lot of interesting things. Other side of this league, XPL, AW Ghost, and West Texas Kraken, both 2-0 playing out tonight, so we'll have to wait and see how the standings end at the end of the day. But for the moment, Centennial, a nice sweep over Central Union, so nice points from Central Union, especially on Kings Row and Atlas. They were able to get some nice success, but unfortunately not enough for them at the end of the day. But that will be about it for us here at the Valhalla Esports League. Thank you everybody for joining. I've been Colonel, that's been Hunter. We've been here with Edge, having some nice time watching some Overwatch, and be sure to come back later on in the week. Have some more games coming up soon. Apex tomorrow, Valorant on Thursday, and we should be back next week running the same couple of sets. Thank you everybody for joining, and see you again next time.